Vodafone presents the pre-match.
Day 2 of ESL One Hamburg is exactly halfway through right now. We've completed our Group A matches. They all have 2 games remaining to decide who finishes in the top 2 and who goes home early. We're going to turn our attention to Group B very shortly with our first game of the day in that particular group. But before we get there, we've also changed up our panel and we're going to preview and review where we are right now, bring you right up to date with all the results and the group standings as they stand in Group A and Group B. So we say hello to Cap and Kyle. How you doing, gents? You all right?
Hello.
Is this the first time? So, very English, old chap.
It's my first panel, and I'm coming on aggressive.
Yeah, quite. I mean, I was going to say we've missed you, but maybe we haven't.
Thank you.
Group A. Let's talk about Group A standings and results so far. Has it surprised you in any way? Is it panning out kind of how you thought it would, Kyle?
Yeah. I mean, it's still close.
Mineski is the biggest surprise.
It was half and half. I mean,
yeah.
What did you think? Mineski was going to do better or worse?
I thought Mineski was going to do a bit better.
All right.
I'm not surprised that VG Gaming Secret are where they're at the top. I'm not surprised that EG is middle ground just because they have a stand-in.
I mean, to me, the group was 3-3 coming into it, and it played out exactly that. You got Alliance, Pain, and Mineski that all have big question marks. They're good, but they're just not there yet. And then VG, EG, Secret, those teams want to win lands, but there's only room for 2 to advance into the winner bracket. Yeah,
it's been a tough day for Alliance. They've gone 1-1 and 0-2 today. Evil Geniuses have gone 1-1 and 1-1 again. It's exactly what they did yesterday. So they've drawn all 4 series so far. It's left them right in the middle of the pack. They're at 4-4. Pain Gaming are also at 4-4, although they've arrived there significantly different, as you can see on your screen right now. The top 2 teams, as it stands, Vici was 6. They've dropped 2 though. Both of those today. They've dropped 2 points today. One of those to Team Secret earlier on, and another one to Evil Geniuses. However, Mineski and Alliance are the ones in trouble, and they're 2 points away from getting through. And when you look at the games that they've got left, you have to say that's going to be a tall order, winning 2-0, and then hoping that Pain lose 2-0, and then hoping that the head-to-head and all of the various things work in it. That's going to be tough for both those teams.
Yep. I mean, the Pain Mineski series is really going to dictate that group. Pain 2-0s them.
Yep.
They're probably going to advance.
They just did.
Yeah.
Just 2-0'd them just now. So it's tough because Mineski, I think, when we check, have got VG. Pain have got Secret and Alliance play EG. So all 3 of them have a game against the other 3 teams at the top of the table. So it's going to be very tough for all those bottom 2 teams, Mineski and Alliance.
I think it's likely that Secret can beat Pain 2-0, but Mineski beating VG 2-0 is like not going to happen.
I don't think Pain's 2-0ing Secret either. I think that's the standings we're going to see. And it makes sense.
That's going to change. Okay. Group B is a little bit different. Obviously, we haven't played any games today just yet. However, Group B saw Team Asti yesterday go 4-0, so they lead the way for China in Group B. After a bit of shenanigans, there's a little bit of backwards and forwards with some feisty chat. RO2 getting a little bit upset yesterday with some of the words that PPD said, and Siler also chipping in with a few of his own bit of BM as well. So there's a bit of salt going on in Group B, which is what we like to see. There's also 3 teams on 2-2. Virtus Pro, Ninjas in Pyjamas, Complexity Gaming, and then 1-3, Forward and EVOS. Again, gents, is it kind of what you thought, but maybe Forward Gaming underperforming yesterday?
Yeah, I think that's a product of the ringer. Same with EG. I think they actually both downgraded a slot in the group thanks to that. You can't sub out a mid player on this short notice and expect to have the same results you do with your full 5.
Yeah, it's a really tough call. Did Complexity overperform yesterday?
I mean, they've gone 1-1 with EVOS and they've gone 1-1 with Forward. That's not impressive considering those are the bottom 2 teams of the group. So I would say, if anything, they probably should have 2-0'd at least one of those teams.
I should have 2-0'd EVOS. I did not like their game plan in that second game.
Have they surprised you a little bit, the Indonesian team from EVOS? Because they've come up with some I know Kyle doesn't want to talk about the ogre from yesterday, but other than that, let's not tilt Kyle this early in the tournament.
It did surprise me. I know it surprised Kyle considering our situation backstage, but we had a bit of a go for Forward versus NiP. Kyle was confident they could take a game off of NiP, or at least he thought it was possible. EVOS, I did not see the other match, so you can't really judge too much on that.
Yeah.
I only saw their match versus.
They've got a point, which a lot of people said to me afterwards. That's a point more than I thought they would get in the whole of the tournament. So I don't know if that's disparaging or not, because obviously I haven't watched them in the qualifiers, because they did really well against Tigers when they played in the qualifiers for this event. So we know that they've got the skills. They can win games against really good teams.
Yeah.
Different kettle of fish. I know that, Carl, you've got your own thoughts on what it's like to come to a LAN the first time and what have you. And it is difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's really
what do you mean? It should be difficult. Are you saying it's not? No?
not this
It was
one.
super easy for you?
You know what was hard was staying in hostels and walking to your event.
See, I
mile
told you about
away
it.
The old
through
man
the
of
snow.
esports over here. Back in my day, when I was playing, I had to walk to my match
They're in a
5
5-star
miles
hotel.
through the snow.
All you gotta do is play Dota, guys. You show up and play Dota. There's no tech issues. You get to use your gear. You get the no delay headsets. Like, come on. It's not 2006
Yes,
anymore,
but the
right?
competition is higher than you had to deal with.
This
as
isn't
well.
Quake 3. This isn't Red Eye isn't playing anymore. He's on desk.
The competition
Those were the days.
is also better than it used to be.
Yeah,
Right.
And that would be the point I
So-
make about EVOS, right? Where, yeah, 6-7 years ago, a team like them coming into an event like this, they're going to lose every game. But the skill gap is closed considerably, and everyone is a competitor. There's no more freebies at pretty much any LAN. I mean, look at the lineups for not even the major, just like the minor as well. There's solid teams there, big names.
Yep. Good plans. Right, let's move on, and we'll talk about our first game in Group B right now, which we're moving on to. These two teams, it's an interesting match for many reasons. Forward are 1 and 3 right now. NiP are 2 and 2. Head to head, really important game for both of them now, because we're right in the middle of it, and a slip up here could cost both teams. You can't imagine that NiP can't get out of this group, let alone get out of the group in the top 2. Surely that's got to be their aim, Kyle.
I would assume so, yes, but I don't think it's going to be possible. Just
But you
VP
still think they'll get out of the group?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But VP and Aster just look too strong.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'd say EVOS is not looking like they would advance unless they can turn it up a little bit
Right.
and be more polished today. But I know for a fact that Cole, NiP, Forward, none of those teams want to go home
No.
after the group stage.
No,
so
indeed. Forward are just warming up, as you can see on the screen right now, so let's talk about them and their lineup. On paper, we've talked about the fact that it's an upgrade with the Universe in this team, Cap, and they can deliver. The downside, of course, is they're having to play with a stand-in here.
Yeah. Upgrade in Universe, downgrade in Excalibur. I felt more confident about EG playing with CC&C because I felt like it was it was definitely going to be a step down, but I felt like a one-to-one replacement. It was probably the best person you were going to be able to get.
Yeah.
I feel less confident about Excalibur. And,
Why?
and
I mean, the
being
guy's
able
been
to mold
ripping it
into
up
this
on
team.
Public. I mean, he's probably the best player in the world right now.
What?
I'm still trying to figure out what Cat means by similarities between Sumail and CC&C. I think they're the same age, but other than that, I don't know if they have much in common.
They both have red blood.
You mean blue blood?
Oh.
It's EG.
Yeah.
Come on, bleed blue, yeah.
No, I've missed that one.
Can I go back to casting? Is anybody... we bring Trent in. I'll cast with Owen.
I'd
It'll
do
be
this
better.
all day, Cap.
Yeah. But this could
Well, it's showing, Kyle.
this could be a thing that goes on all day. NiP. Let's talk about them.
Yes.
Their lineup. PPD is notoriously good at putting lineups together. He knows how to put good players together. He knows how to manage them as well. He's shown us he can win. Obviously, TI is the big thing that we've seen in the past. But Optic had some moments as well through that DPC season where they looked very good at times, and they seem to be getting better. This effectively, on paper, is like an amalgamation of 2 players that were very good on Secret, 2 players from Optic, with an extra guy who actually has had his moments in the past. On paper, it looks fantastic, doesn't it?
I mean, more like 2 guys that got kicked from Secret.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've
And
got the best of Optic,
I'm
but
trying
also
to be
the worst
nice
of
here.
Secret, right?
I wouldn't.
No,
Worst is
like
a
we're
strong
saying
statement.
like they just didn't fit into the team, right? And I would say that Fada and Ace are both good players, but I would say like Fada, Ace, as well as Saksa, I think of them as all having pretty defined playstyles. And then 33, he also has a defined playstyle, but I would say that's more like a little bit more superstar power, where he has these really good heroes that are sort of game-winning and can actually do those sort of things for you. It feels like if I'm PPD, it would be very difficult for me to be able to pull everyone together under the same vision of
Okay.
draft, right?
I don't know. I mean, I think they show up and they try to win. At the end of the day, the thing that they have going for them, much like Optic in the previous season, is they're all professionals. And that's something difficult to piece together.
Okay.
That
So
makes,
wait, Kyle, I swear to God, are you just disagreeing with me to just disagree? Wait, that's literally the definition of every single team in this entire community. I can literally just be like, oh well, every single one of these players, after all, they're professionals and they've all got their own play styles, but they're all pulling to be able to win, so they should be able to mesh together just fine. What?
well, if you were not to interrupt me just then, I would have explained what I meant by professionals.
Okay.
There's certain players. I mean, I was going to name some names. I'm going to keep that to myself. There are players that play because they want to get some stream viewers. They think it's cool. The game ends. They're in Twitch chat looking at UC, CNC. They're not in it to like be the best at Dota. They're in it for like for the fans or because they think it's cool, the memes, whatever. But these are guys that approach the game with the hunger and desire to be the best. They just deliberately want to win a TI, except Peter, who is self-proclaimed just in it for the cash.
Okay.
But
Let's take a look at the head-to-head. This one is Kyle versus Cap. We're going to look at the comparison. No, I'm joking. It is, of course, 33 in University Offliners, which, you know, when you look at these two, you've already mentioned 33 has the star power. If anyone has the star power on forward, it's Universe, isn't it?
what is star power in Dota? It's such a team meta right now. I mean, like, look at the net worth. 20%, 19.9%. That's about how what you'd expect. That's solid 1/5. That's a good Dota player nowadays.
Is that three? Is that three?
It's numbers. Stats mean nothing in Dota. Okay. I saw what was it? The 2 games Ace was playing Animage. He hit like 900 GPM. He didn't have to do any work to win those games. Just because you have big numbers doesn't mean you're a big player. It's not how it goes.
Is that beard real on Universe?
What? Are you all right, dude? Did you take some of Fogg's cold
What,
meds?
did you not look at that? I'm not crazy on that.
It look digitally enhanced. I
That
will admit.
was a Photoshop beard if I've ever seen one in my life.
You know, he has high quality beard. What can we say?
HD.
HD beards. Yes, 33 on your screen. Has been a game changer for Optic throughout the DPC last season, looking to do the same thing for his new team alongside his existing captain, where he's moved across with PPD for Forward Gaming and with NiP against Forward Gaming right now. And wide hero pool, he has that star power you've mentioned. Cat can change games for them. Who else is important in this team?
They're all important. Who's a better question? Cat. In
You're
NiP,
ready to go with the cop-out answer.
Who's unimportant, Cap? Who could you just replace and
Peter.
immediately improve the team? Why Peter Pan Dam? Cap.
I don't know. Obviously, they're all important. But if Paul's going to pose a question like that, I feel like Fada is going to be the one who's the most, I guess, versatile when it comes to his space creation. So Ace, I would say, has a more directed hero pool in that regard between him and 33. I think Saksa is going to be playing like those greedier 4 positions that he's done for pretty much his whole career, but that's okay with this hard 6 position in Peter Pan Dam. So I feel like that actually has some decent synergy. My biggest concern is the difference between is being able to fit both Ace as well as 33 in 2 core roles.
Okay. Are we still trying to answer the... I'm so confused. The most important player...
It was Ace.
No. Most important player is the one that's the most difficult to replace, and that's 3-3. You know how many offers that guy got after TI? No one can do what he does.
He said after 33.
Well,
Who's the most
there isn't
important
anyone
player?
else.
Oh, okay.
He's the only one.
That's all.
I actually think it would probably have to be Peter, to be honest, just because there's
he's a drafter.
significant
He's
lack
captain.
of captain drafters available in the scene. So you got to hold on tight to the ones you have because you never know.
You're
This is the guy who led.
captain, Kyle.
No.
A bit of a drafter.
You're a captain. You're a drafter.
Nope.
Hard to
5.
replace. Seems like you would be really valuable. Yet here you are on the panel with us.
I don't know.
I mean,
Kind of
Peter.
answered that one.
Peter, after all, is a captain who managed to bring Optic into a top 8 at TI, right? Well, it wasn't top 6, right?
Nope,
There was
top
7th, 8.
eight,
Yeah. And I think that was a respectable. Like obviously they probably wanted more, but I think that was a pretty respectable.
Yeah, I mean, his exit interview, he was kind of like, No, that's
Yeah.
fine. That's where
he was one of the few
to
losers
where we
who
thought we
seemed
were
like
going to get. I'm not upset. I'm
Yeah.
not. That's where we thought we would get, and we did.
yeah, and he certainly gained a very important tie out of that by being able to pull 33 into this new team.
Yeah.
So-
In terms of forward gaming, obviously it's difficult to talk about them because they aren't a complete 5 right now. But we can talk about Excalibur. How have you rated him within the matches you saw yesterday? Very difficult, obviously, to drop in as a stand-in and then immediately mesh. And we weren't looking for that necessarily, but you kind of seen him play out on the public area, and you've seen him play well. So how does that transfer?
I don't think it does.
Okay. At all?
Kyle's like holding
don't
back
wanna
some real flame
I don't
right
wanna
now.
touch this one.
You can tell.
Can we? We're filling for much too long.
Wait,
I'm
so do
getting
I have
tempted.
to, in order to prompt him to respond, do I have to say, I think Excalibur's doing great. I think that he's,
Yeah, they won a
I think
game.
it's everybody else on the team who's failing right now. Excalibur is easily the best person. Kyle, surely you have a
You're
response
just
to that.
talking out of your ass. Like I don't
Yes.
even know what's happening.
I'm only saying that just to get you to let go. What do you have to really say about Excalibur?
I think he's like. The reason he's not on a tier 1 team is because he doesn't practice like a tier 1 player. He plays pubs to win pubs, which is completely irrelevant. Am I allowed to drop? No.
You can drop whatever you want.
Keep going, Kyle.
I'm
This is
trying-
what I want to
I'm-
hear out of
I'm
you.
censoring myself. There's it's same issue like 747 has. Guy would rather play on a Smurf, Ember Spirit, for 2 months versus train meta heroes so that he can learn. Look at Limp as an example. That guy, I love him. He had big issues with the hero pool for years. He didn't play Invoker. You know what he did? Finally, played Invoker like 100 times. It's still not the greatest, but you know what? It's gonna get there because if you want to win TI, you got to be able to play Invoker. So get your shit together and stop trying to win games with Tinker for the 372nd time. No one cares.
At
You know
that
how
point, you're
you know how much you get paid for being top 10 on the leaderboards, Cap? Nothing.
Wow.
Absolutely nothing.
At that point, you're just hoping the meta stumbles into you rather than.
I mean, it's how
Dude,
some of the
MMR
players have picked up teams in the past is because they can play a small.
Dude,
I take your point, but
MMR
they can play 4 or 5 heroes really well, and they had
Yeah.
stumbled into the meta at the right time and then learned new heroes.
MMR is deceptive. It's convinced players like Gork that he's a good player, and it boggles my mind.
And the draft is
Kyle's on
on the
one
way.
today.
We've got some fairly typical first phase bans.
I know there's this fly floating around on the desk right
Yeah.
now, but it really seems like you've got a bee in your bonnet, Kyle.
Good God, get me out of here.
And so through the draft for NiP versus Forward.
Just in
As I said,
time.
a fairly standard first round ban. So we've got an Axe round 1 ban with a Wyvern and Phoenix. And only over the other side, we've got the typical Wisp, Drow, and Tiny bans. And the first pick's Chen for NiP.
Really
and
like
Marana
that.
for Forward.
This is a combo that's like very specific in the North American scene where Chen, people love playing core Marana against Chen because you deny his aggression and you ensure Chen can't play in your safe lane. And effectively, there's going to be a Chen in the enemy safe lane, and you can deal with it a lot easier. And it's just a great open core. They go with an Ogre as well, which I really don't like picking into a Chen, but at the same time, it's just one of those solid support heroes that people enjoy.
Yeah, the other like really solid support would be like Bane, right? But you don't like having that against Chen
Never.
either. In fact, that's worse.
Yes.
So I prefer Ogre in that regard. Because all the other really strong supports right now, the bird duo, Wyvern and Phoenix, were both banned out super early.
Could yep, there you go. I like that. Brood opener seems a bit awkward. I've seen VP do it a couple times, even at TI. It is a very strong hero, and we've been talking about 3-3, and that's why he's the one you can't replace. And how many players in the world play a good enough Brood you can confidently first to it?
Now they're going to
and
ban him.
the only other team we've seen do it in the last 6 months has been Virtus Pro, isn't it?
Mineski did as well, but that's also because they have, not Mineski, sorry, Fnatic, because they have 2
Switch,
players. And I assume NiP does too, because Ace will probably play Brood if he needs to.
Yeah.
He was the one for Secret, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, he plays Meebo Arkward, I'm sure he can Brood.
So unless you put Marana mid, which is I think a hero that you can get good matchups into, like you have to get 2 cores that deal with Broodmother in your side lanes.
Yes
right?
and no. The thing is, and there's something that we haven't had room to discuss, but this double stout on ranged heroes even against Broodmother is very effective. You deny their ability to Spider Army, like chase you down. We saw Ame just absolutely destroy a Broodmother at the Singapore LAN. utilizing that double stout, and it's something that I think we'll see just a lot of safe laners do as well when they're playing against aggressive lanes, because effectively one shield is the cost of a set of tangos, and if it can reduce that amount of damage, it's going to pay for itself, because obviously buy for 200, sell for 100. God forbid it saves you from a death, it pays for itself tenfold, or fourfold.
What are the other cores you like? Kunkka, Bandout, Monkey King is really annoying for Broodmother too, right?
TA. That's the
TA,
big one.
yeah.
TA actually crushes Broodmother nowadays because Refraction, Psyblade, like one-shot spiders almost.
Yeah.
And you just do so much damage to Brood. And traps, like, you don't want to play against disables that have no regard for terrain.
Yeah. Like you go and try and take over like some ancients, and there's TA traps sitting there. They have vision of you doing it. Sets up the supports to make a rotation.
And I like the Brood too. It's one of those really strong moves you can make as first pick, where it's like you have a Chen and a Brood, and you need to address this if you're forward gaming. But you're going to give NiP counter picks to your next two selections as well. So you're in a really nice position as NiP because, yeah, you've got the meat of your draft, or rather, I guess the bones, the skeleton of how you want to win the game is there, but you've got a lot of different directions you can go to complete it.
Are you ever okay with two melee supports? Like if you did Earthshaker, right?
Rarely.
Who's
That's
good
terrible.
against Chen and Broodmother, but you
It
just hate
isn't,
double
though,
melees?
because they just run you over before your supports come online. I'm just not a fan of double melee supports in general. I saw EG just run Ogre Ursa. They got worked. I've seen. I'm just not a fan. And I like that the Phoenix Wyvern were banned out by NiP. I think we brought that up already. But those are two heroes you'd love to have if you're forward, just because of the team fight they provide, the wave clear. Very difficult for Chen to ever make moves into those heroes. Ban the Bloodseeker. There's a lot of different directions you can go if you're forward. This pick is tough, and that's why even though Brood is like a good pick, or sorry, it's earlier than you'd expect. It's just so challenging to draft from this position.
Yeah, last time they've picked a Brood was during the Kuala Lumpur Major qualifiers. It was against the Evil Geniuses, and they paired that with a Centaur, a DK, an Ogre, and a Tusk.
No one plays a Meatbow. Yeah, no one plays a Meatbow on forward, but that's a hero we'll see counter Brood at some
Didn't
point.
Excalibur play Meepo?
Oh, that's a good point, right? Yeah, duh.
Yeah,
they have Excalibur.
that's-
Never mind.
yeah.
I'm thinking it's YOR. Yeah, my last pick Meatbow for forward is something NiP's got to ban, but I'm not sure. I think that's the downside of a ringer, right? Even if he can play the hero, is that really something you've game planned for?
Yeah.
And you're not going to play a Brood and a Meepo, even though they could.
Huh? No, forward would play Meatbow.
No, but NiP could. They've got the players,
I mean, sure.
but they wouldn't
They
with the
would.
Brood.
It's possible, though.
It's one of those SAP picks, apparently. Dazzle? Why Dazzle?
I think it's good against Brood. Physical
Why?
damage, just style, good wave shove.
Just Shadow Wave when he tries to
Yeah.
use the spiders to push.
I assume it's going to be going off lane with their off laner into the Chen lane. I think it's very effective against that hero because you can just shove the wave and at the very least trade. And Chen's quite difficult to deal with if you can't push the wave because they could potentially just control the lane and force you out with the Satyr or some such.
So right now you're looking at it 33 with the Broodmother off lane, and that's going to be matched into the Mirana, and then we're going to have the Dazzle plus the offlaner.
I think so, but I wouldn't put 3-3 on an offlane Brood just yet because
Yeah,
if they,
sure.
if they can get it against Mirana mid, I think you keep it that way.
Yeah, you're not going to lock anything down for sure.
Centaur. I like that. Dazzle Centaur is like a really nice combo. I'm surprised we haven't seen more often. I really like what Forward's done because they're still very open with this last pick, which is crucial. They can put Mirana mid, safe lane, whatever. So it's more not about the lanes as much, but you can now last pick an Excalibur hero or a Resolution hero. I assume it'll be a Rezo hero. I just think that's a position you really want to be in if you're last pick. You need as many options as possible. I like what NiP did as well. These are two very high-level drafts. Good openers, like a good flow to it. Neither drafter really tipping their hand until the position they need to, or as required by the number of heroes revealed.
Is there anything that you like about Crystal Main specifically, besides that it's just an open pick?
Just great synergy with Brood. I think it's pretty good against Mirana and Ogre. Just multiple disables. You need a root up against a Mirana as well. And it's just you want this roaming type support with a Chen. You don't want to pick some like we've seen like Earth Spirit, Rubik's traditionally. You don't want to pick something. I'm trying to think of a bad example. Like I don't know. It's just good. CM's never bad, right? It'll be a Soxa hero as well. Now, if you're an NiP, probably want some sort of reach / lockdown. Wouldn't be surprised. I think raw team fight would be nice because forwards demonstrated that they're willing to get aggressive with the way their lineup is formed. You're gonna have a Centaur and an Ogre just smashing down your lines. You need something that can kind of sit there and face it.
Oh, I liked your idea. I was thinking about like Brewmaster, like something that gives you that overwhelming team fight, has disables when the Centaur tries to either engage or disengage with Stampede. Surprised they picked up their carry, but I guess they felt like Morphling was strong enough here. They didn't want to go into that final banning phase.
It's just, I think, the best carry in Dota right now. Especially, you know, we've discussed the, was it the Ame build? The taking the waveform or morph duration and morph targets allies. Yeah. It's so strong when you utilize the hero. It's never bad. You don't really have a hero on forward that can rush Spirit Vessel effectively, and you already have, again, you have these big issues you already need to deal with, right? The Chen and the Brood. Now there's a Morphling as well.
So if you turn into a Brood Mother, do your web stay?
I have no idea.
Because that's what happened at the Red Bull.
Maybe.
Can I just throw something out there as well?
Yes.
Could this last one be a Bat Rider for NiP?
Just banned by forward, but yes,
yeah.
it could have been.
I was thinking maybe they maybe this is a little bit of a dupe and they put the Brood on Ace and then they played the Bat off.
Yeah.
But
they banned the Meepo. You have to ban the Meepo here. It is a 10th pick for forward that just straight up wins the game for them. Especially when you consider the setup around it. A Dazzle, a Centaur, like it's the dream Meepo game. And there's absolutely nothing they have to deal with it.
Which does leave the DK if forward won it.
I don't think you can. You could actually. When you run Dazzle Ogre, it's quite nice because you're so much damage amplification that you can get away with these more like mid-game cores such as Centaur Mirana and trust that like they're going to scale to a point where Morphling doesn't just auto win the game because you can just play so fast and everyone.
Are there any late game cores that you trust?
Look at the threats, by the way, on the NiP side.
Are there any late game cores that you trust at this point for forward? Because we've already talked about how like Phantom Lancer versus Morph doesn't actually do as well as it used to.
Whoa. Legion Commander for NiP?
Not a huge fan of that into the Dazzle.
I would have much preferred the Brewmaster if you wanted like the catch one hero.
Yeah, but then you're in trouble because you don't have like raw lockdown and it's just so awkward to play Morph, Brew, and Brood. It's overly complicated. At least this gives them a nice way. You know, they can go in with like CM Morph, LC duels next target. Now they've got collected 2 kills. It's not ideal, but it's all right. And it puts forward in a tough spot because as you were saying, like they already don't want to pick a hard carry. Now you really don't want to. You think you go for some Rezo hero here. It's not going to be a TB. This is a scenario I wouldn't. Axe is actually first 2-3 banned by NiP. I could see a Sven as a possibility, but against a Morphling, it's rough. I mean, the NiP lineup, you're inevitably going to draft this last hero into something it doesn't like to play against.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you know, like I kind of like Doocy here, but you hate against Morph
and Brood.
There are all these like hard carries that
you could just Lina here. I could see that, but then your draft's a bit squishy.
What about
Troll? Okay, nice. I like that a lot. That's really good here.
It matches up really well against Legion and Brood. How does it match up versus Morphling? If it's just kind of okay.
It counters him in a sense. Morphling, when he's super fat, can deal with you very easily. Like the Scotty E-Blade, right? You can never gap close now as a troll, but it gives you tempo. It's good synergy with the Mirana. Like it's one of those active carries, and the way that forward wants to play the map is just swarm fast. They want to be everywhere, utilize this move speed advantage and their mobility. You don't want to get in a position where NiP is able to death ball or starve the map, and the way to deal with that is pace.
All right, let's take a look at the synergy and threats. As you can see, the better synergy is on the NiP side. However, the threats are enormous for them as well. 4 of them are fragile towards the Ogre, and Mirana also with 4 heroes in her sights as well. So plenty of threats for NiP to deal with, but have they had the better draft? Cat, which one do you want to go for?
Well, they do have 2 cores that deal with the Broodmother lane, and so they are going to be searching for that Mirana versus Broodmother matchup. I'm not super convinced by the supports. I mean, like, Ogre is tanky and that helps. I'm not convinced by the Shadow Wave counter to the Broodmother, but I do like the Broodmother last pick, so I'm going to go for, is it forward? Yeah, forward.
Forward being the team with Dazzle and Ogre.
Or NiP with the Broodmother?
No, not NiP.
Okay.
Forward.
Okay.
Don't give me that
sorry.
dumbass
This
look,
point.
Kyle.
I'm gonna go,
Everything that I said was right.
Just let
NiP's
them
gonna
carry
win.
on whilst we go to the commentary team. We'll see you later.
Thank you, Reda. Yes, NiP versus Forward Gaming. I'm ODPixel. I'm here with Trent for this 2-game series. And I'm excited. We're getting to see a Legion Commander. This is a hero that I feel like we never ever see, or at least I can't recall last time I casted one. And it's picked sort of alongside and around this, there's this Broodmother that's coming out, second pick, a lot of confidence from NiP just whipping it out, and why not? It can work. Even when you pick it at this earlier stages, it's still this hero that's, if you're not ready and prepared to deal with it, you're not going to be ready and prepared to deal with it. And it's a 33 Broodmother, of course, nonetheless. One of the best broods in the game. It could be tough for Forward, but have they got the answers, Trent? What do you think about Forward's sort of answer, this sort of finisher with the Troll, relying on him to carry the game?
Yeah, we'll have to see. I don't know. It's always tough with a stand-in. It's always going to be a little bit of a rough situation, right? So see how Excalibur can slot himself into it. But just so curious about who will indeed be in the lane with the Broodmother. Obviously one of the most important things whenever you're going to go about picking this hero. So she's well set for the mid lane here. Currently looks like it'll be the old Troll. Does not have a Stout at the moment, so probably wouldn't be all too fun if that indeed is the case. But it's a Troll. He can figure himself out. Battle for the bounties. Absolutely no one up top.
No,
just Mirana.
Everyone
Just
is down
hanging.
in. Everyone's down bottom. So Excalibur should be able to grab himself those 2 bounty runes up top, no problems. And yeah, NiP will be able to secure the 2 down bottom. As we'll see indeed what sort of matchups do end up coming out, and yeah, how well that Troll is going to be able to fare against the mid lane Broodmother. Should be all right, in theory, as a Troll. You've got the range, you know, if you do sort of get yourself threatened and run down, you've got the axes to apply the mischance, so you shouldn't die, really, in this matchup, unless you get too over-aggressive with the W.
Yeah, I think it's good to see that he's also not, like, panicking or anything. Like, he doesn't really need the Stout right off the bat anyway, because it's level 1 Broodmother, so there's only webs, and then even by the time she's, like, level 2, you've got 6 armor, so not much problem, or at least if you're in tower range, that is, but... So he'll be okay before he gets the courier. Now, if there was a courier snipe, that's where he runs some serious trouble. But it looks like the Dire Sports are a bit too busy at the moment.
So Excalibur will be on the top lane, running these dual lanes here. Excalibur being backed up by the Ogre Magi against this the safe laner, Fada and PPG, the Legion Commander Chen, which is going to be holding their own up on the top lane. So we'll see how much farm Excalibur can get against this.
Should be nice. Doesn't have to worry too much about Chen creeps early on, and PVD just avoiding that scenario completely by just going for the early points in the penitence. Getting that bonus damage and trying to punish these guys who are trying to bully. Like, even SVG taking a little bit of the wrath of that, thanks to him just standing in creep waves because he's an ogre.
And then, of course, that bottom lane, we've got Saxa. He's going to be supporting his boy in the Morphling. But it's sort of the same thing said really here, I feel, for Forward Game. They have got this Dazzle, Centaur, safe lane duo, very tanky, very durable. So should be fine getting the farm universe down bottom.
I'd be worried right now for Ace, because he's only level 2, and they just instantly start walking on with that poison, and he has no wave for him.
Yeah, they can play very aggressively on these early levels, the 2 of them, MSS and Universe, so can certainly expect to see them have a really good hold of this bottom lane.
Been a lot of very greedy Morphling builds as of late, where they'll skip the waveform for a very long time. So, curious to see like how much Ace wants to go back in towards the attribute shift right away. Probably like right away at level 3. Maybe he'll go for the waveform at 4.
Well, let's see. As mid lane, CS-wise, how are we going at the moment? We're 8 for 1 on the Brood, 12 for 3 on Resolution, so indeed, Resolution doing a very good job on these early levels as the Troll being able to match up against that Spider. But here's where we're going to see potentially the breakaway. 33 with that ability to utilize these camps as he moves around the map with the web and ducks and dives from the mid lane to the neutrals to keep himself ahead in farm.
Yeah, it is absolutely disgusting. She is quite the hero. Extremely frustrating to try and play against. I mean, at least Troll Warlord is somebody that can pressure the tower, so that is one way that he can try and bring her back into the lane and try and punish the fact that she'll be absent, but of course the Broodmother is always just so quick in those movements. Man, that Harpy, maybe it's enough damage.
It really is. He's doing a lot of damage here to SVG, just that constant spam, and in fact, it's going to get the kill. PPD there, the Harpy Master, just spamming that lightning, and they weren't ready. The abuse was an incredible amount.
Even lives. Imagine if there was a hero with a 50 damage nuke for 140. That would be pretty broken. So the fact that you get it so early on, that's why it works. You know, that's why Chen's great.
The perfect creep for PPD to get his hands on, and as we can see in that top lane, it is allowing Fada to just break slightly ahead of the farm of Excalibur.
If he can keep it alive, it also has ridiculous night vision.
Yeah, that's true as well, yeah, for the upcoming portion. As he's doing his best at the moment, keeping it safe. Mid lane Resolution, trying to get his hands on a few of the spiders here that the 33 does have. He's got a lot of them, though.
Yeah, 3 points in the Whirling Axes, so gonna keep his eyes on that one for a 3-3, and there they go. But won't be enough damage to get a kill in the single round, so they just start regenning again.
But still, Rezo, I mean, yeah, he is getting free farm in this middle. I feel like this isn't something that I've really seen a lot as an answer to a Brood lane, but Forward Gaming's approach with just putting Rezo on the Troll seems to be pretty brilliant. You know, this is a 33 Brood. You know, it's a very fair comparison to say, look, this is a good Brood player.
Yeah, exactly.
What can you do against it? And Resolution on the Troll, farming absolutely perfectly.
Oh, MSS gets a little low, but he has the stick there. And indeed, Ace does not have any points. He's gone for the full attribute shift, so he's able to play this lane aggressively as possible, get the most last hits and denies that he can. And they haven't been able to punish that at all.
No.
Not exactly the best news. Saksa going for the 2 points in the Crystal Nova, so I like this early too. I think that's basically his best way to deter them from getting aggressive onto Ace.
Oh, we're going to see both teams set up around these 5-minute bounty runes down bottom. Ace trying to do his best to keep Universe and MSS off it. Universe comes in with a combo. Ace is going to start punching back as Universe will grab the bounty down there. Saxo is able to get the other one. And up top as well, it looks like each team going to take one apiece.
Yeah, they had a bit of a brawl in the lane and then just went their separate ways.
So with Resolution's Troll as well this game, what do you imagine the build's going to be? Is he going to just go with the sort of phase S and Y sort of fighting? Is there a chance we see like a Battle Fury Troll, or is that going to be a little too slow for the pace?
I guess it could depend. Like, maybe if he just keeps on snowballing like crazy, he could consider it. But I'm not jumping right on the Battle Fury train. No. I feel like he just wants to be certainly a hard carry, of course. But I don't know if he needs to go that degree of it. You know, try and play a little bit earlier with the team, maybe get some objectives, like help out with Roche and stuff. Join some team fights with Stampede. A quick attribute shift down bottom from Ace will keep him alive. Just before that Stomp hits. Pretty hard to catch a Morph off guard with Stomp. You know, it's a pretty slow wind-up.
That's top lane Excalibur. Has to be careful. There's Fada and PPD giving him a bit of a rundown. They've already used the first ensnare. Still bullying him back. CS though looks really sort of across the board. It's a pretty close early game. You know, 6 minutes in. Only 1-0 for NiP, and less than a 1k lead for Forward Gaming. A very close opening between the two sides for now, but on top, Fada finding the opening onto Excalibur, does still have a leap available, so Excalibur will continue to retreat. That's all his leaps gone now. Does Fada want to dive for this? He certainly does. Comes under the tower and takes down Excalibur. And this is going to be pretty big as well. You know, any sort of kill that Fada gets, it's going to propel him towards that level 6. And as soon as they have that level 6, there's a lot of very easy ways that they can kill that Mirana. Excalibur has to be very careful on that top lane. A troll trap into a duel, he's going to die every time on this Mirana.
Yeah, I'm sure Fada's hero damage is actually ridiculous at this point in the game because he's been having the constant mana regen from the Crystal Maiden, even if it is just the earlier levels. Still does quite a bit for you. And then just having that bonus damage from the Chen where it gets amped from there. So just constantly spamming here with his stick.
You see at the moment, SVG standing in the jungle just trying to keep PPD away, but PPD is actually making a smoke movement towards the middle lane. He's leaving Fada alone. And yeah, there we have as well. So interesting, very obviously very rarely picked, but as you can see in terms of the win rate, not too bad at all.
She's looking good.
Yeah, it's closing on a 60% win rate in the very few games that she has been picked up recently, or at least in the recent patches.
She'll get some buffs soon though, right? Mara's coming out. I feel like those two got some more
Maybe.
stuff going on, so we got to make sure that Legion Commander's up to snuff.
Dire's middle tower is under
I mean,
attack.
I think in terms of a lot of teams, the way they look at it, they would certainly expect that the hero needs a buff of sorts, as a lot of people just do not want to touch the Legion Commander.
China seemed kind of into it. I feel like XSS has been playing it very well, so I don't know, clearly some of those teams are doing quite well at the moment. Might want to follow what they do, but Universe under his own tower.
Just get the Hoost on. There's going to be mass TPs coming in as Ace does dive pretty deep, but he's got the waveform.
Pretty much just one angle out of there.
Turn towards Saxa, but again, with that slow forward game, they sent a lot down here in terms of TPs. PPD will send back the CM. And Resolution still trying to keep the pressure onto 33. And Resolution 8 minutes and 84 CS. Of course, a few of those are spiders.
Yeah.
But still very impressive to see him really come out on top. You know, it's sure the Brood's still having a Brood game, but this Troll, he's having even a better time. It's bottom lane Ace will be able to combo down SVG. A third kill for NiP. But it's really sort of the emphasis on, you know, sure, we've seen Rezo have a fantastic time at the start, but down the road, this Spider's going to still be an issue.
Yeah.
And will they have the means to deal with 33 Brood in, say, 10 minutes' time?
Troll can often feel like a win range or two, where it's like you always feel like you need one more item on the hero. Feels like SNY is like just getting started sort of a deal, and like he's just now picking up the Morbid Mask, and it just feels like such a necessary item. But 3-3's been great about not feeding. You saw that it was only 7 spiders fed at the time when Lareth was bringing that up, so very impressive. But that's kind of scary that when you look at the last ones, you're like,
yeah,
oh,
so
that's only like 7 spiders. Like this guy's
I mean,
absolutely shredding right. Like no wonder he's at like 4,500 net worth.
I feel like, you know, 9.5 minutes in, having 100 plus CS, that's, I don't know if that's like the record, but it's got to be up there in terms of CS stats. That is an incredible amount of farm that Resolution's found.
Yeah, and on top of that, he keeps pressuring the tower. Like this range creep slips by, so 3-3 wasn't able to get all of them, and that means there's no backdoor protection or anything. I guess there never is on a tier 1, but he's of course not tanking a tower.
Oh, here we go. Father's coming with the rotation. Does have a duel if he can close the gap. They are going to try and chase, but the Moonlight Shadow's there, and Resolution will be out of there. Father unsuccessful with the rotation. Can't quite find that setup onto that Phase Boots Troll. Just a little bit too speedy. Down bottom as well with the Moonlight. Forward able to strike back, find an opening onto PPDs. They'll claim the life of the Chen. Get themselves the first kill for their own side on the board. SVG trying to get towards that bouncy rune, but Saxa will be able to take it now. SVG, he's trapped in. PPD from the grave, using his army to hold that Ogre in place in the tree line. Will get revenge as SVG falls.
Yeah, need a couple nice plays there too, as they knew that MSS was invis, and they were able to get a stomp off on him when he was trying to steal the bounty rune, so helps secure a couple for themselves in the bot lane, and that means it's going to be, what, 2 for 2 then? Or, yeah, it looks that way.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Scalper got both up top.
And yeah, net worth still this situation. So he is going to go for the Battle Fury.
Okay.
Again, sort of the Brood down the line. As I say, we really need to see something coming out from forward that's going to offer sort of that answer at all stages. And you know, Battle Fury is a fantastic way to play. He drops the 2 sort of combos with the Axis throwing out, comes in with 1 hit with the cleave. Yeah, you're going to kill these spiders.
Yeah, I guess you can say, like, the question would be, too, like, let's say he went for something more active and aggressive, like an SNY or something like that. Like, who can he play with right now? Because other lanes aren't going that well.
Oh, and I like this as well. Look at this. MSS and Resolution sneak into the pit with the smoke. He's got the lifesteal. He's also just picked up a double damage rune as well. This is a beautiful play here for forward. You know, team that 11 minutes in is still close. They are 2k behind, but if they can get this Roche and Aegis, which I think they're going to, unless we see sort of 33 send over a Spider to check it out, because he may start wondering where Resolution's gone from this middle lane.
It's only when it hits the actual tower that he's going to start noticing things.
Yeah. He's going to be like, hang on, no one's coming to clean this up, but it's going to be too late. They're getting it.
33rd highest on any hero
that's
since
not
TI5.
bad. I mean,
that's pretty good.
There's tens of thousands of games that have been played since TI5.
Oh, duel up top.
The kill, Fada. Getting himself that first bit of tasty dual damage on the board, but there we have it. Resolution and MSS getting away with it, getting the Aegis. A really nice heads-up play. They see the opportunities to go in and get the Roshan, and NiP, they were not expecting that one at all. So Resolution's game continuing to look absolutely beautiful on his trial.
Yeah, but with that Battlefield, I do worry a little bit in terms of like what his contribution would be. Like if he just gets defused or something, he's not going to be able to fight early on in this game. So.
There's a lot of kite potential that is true. It feels like this, or almost with the Battle Fury, you're playing for the later portion of the game. But then as the game goes on, there's going to be a late game Brood and a late game Morphling. It's going to be tough for Ford. He's going to find the opening onto PPD. PPD starting to retreat, but he gets slowed down. Hand of God comes out. It's not going to be enough to keep PPD alive as Resolution beats him down. But now the TPs are coming through. Moonlight Shadow used here by Excalibur. Resolution trying to chase for more. They got the Poison Touch onto Saxa. Resolution looking to get on top of Ace. But Ace waveforms away. The Spiders coming in from the side, starting to potentially trap them off if they get outside of the webs. But the Fire Blast holds back 33. Resolution still being chased by this army of Spiders. The Moonlight Shadow only going to last for a few more seconds. It is not long enough. Resolution, he does have the Aegis, so will have a second life, but they're surrounding him. NiP Fighter's got a duel as well. Can Forward Gaming do anything to sort of get Resolution out of it? I don't think they can. He's surrounded. They're going to be able to got the Stampede. That's enough. It is enough to get him out. So all in all, not too bad there for Forward. They get in, they get themselves a kill on the Chen, and they do manage to get everyone safely out. They lose the Aegis.
Yeah. I'm going to call that one a bit of a win there for NiP, I think. I mean, the one upside is, of course, Universe was farming that entire time. So he doesn't have both of the Blink Daggers. Yeah. So as long as he can transition this, like, at least now Troll has someone to play with, which is kind of good, and maybe he can actually be a little bit involved in some of these engagements. I think Legion's also looking for a bit of a friend at the moment, right? Like, trying to get some duels going.
Like, who do you sort of pair up with the Legion? I mean, in terms of bursts, your best hero at the moment is probably the Morphling, but ideally the Morph wants to be farming elsewhere.
Yeah. You can try with CM ulti. It's honestly not that bad, but not ideal.
See mid lane. Ace is going to present himself. Forward Gaming. They're smoked up. There's the jump in. Did they got the burst in time? They do. They get him before he begins to shift, and that's Ace off the map. Wow. Good blink reveal there from Universe. Gets them a solid kill. And Resolution, he'll head over, start of Force 33 away from the Ancients. 33 actually coming back in. He's got PPD by as well, but the stun again. Universe, he's in with the control, and he's found 33. Universe making big plays here with the blink, as you said that he needed to do. He has to sort of get the ball rolling, find some action for his team, and that's two massive kills. Thanks to Universe's plays, they get the Morphling and they get the Broodmother.
Yeah, and this is all Rezo, who's just like sitting there with like a demon edge in these fights. He's like, thank you kindly for holding these people in place. This is wonderful at the moment. And this is when Broodmother is supposed to be...
Is he really doing it again? This man!
He caught him again?
Universe, he's just got so much done. I mean, we see sometimes Universe pop off, but that last minute of gameplay is a bit of a dream from Universe. 3 core kills.
That ward's out of there for sure. Yeah, instantly deward by PVD.
He's going to go for this, but there is the stun. Is that enough to hold him off and stop him dying in the duel? It is. MSS still alive. He's able to get the grave off. He'll probably still die. He's going for the TP back to base. He's actually going to live. Back to the fountain. He'll survive. And dare I say it, Universe again, having that stomp to stop Fada's damage and getting everybody out. They're stepping it up. I'm impressed so far by Forward Gaming's approach to this game. They're against an NiP 33 Brood.
Yep.
They held the lanes well. They've got Universe already making some big baller plays. And Resolution, he's sitting at the top of the net worth on his troll. The Battle Fury, it's there. It's on its way out to him. He's going to farm into the Manta Star next. His farm is only going to continue, and with the Battle Fury at this very good timing on top of the phase and the Mask and the Aquila, he's going to be able to farm that quicker than the Broodmother.
Yeah, that's actually ridiculous.
Yeah. Excalibur,
try again. This time the morph is there.
Excalibur's still alive though. He's got a couple of leaps, but Ace, he's got some leaps himself. Moonlight Shadow, Excalibur's in the tree. He's going to be fine.
Unless they get a good guess there.
And now, so SVG does get found out. Universe, he's going to jump in, go for the Who Stomp, but he's backing away. They don't really have Resolution quite there ready to fight with them. He's still focusing on the farming. But, I mean, Mirana surviving there, getting away on a slither of health, despite Ace and Fada's best attempts to chase him down.
Yeah, this is definitely getting a little frustrating for Fada. Like, he's a Legion, and it's been good in some instances because, of course, you can, like, tick off the Ignite and stuff in the laning phase. That lowers a little bit the Ogre, so that adjusts the skill build for SVG. But then when you're moving to this mid-game, that can be very irritating when you don't have a good burst hero on your team to actually help you bring down people in the duel before you have any sort of right-click damage. So now it's a smoke into smoke here. Sox is caught in between.
Yeah, they don't want to get sacked, so they want something bigger. What can they find? PPD's there. Again, the support. They'll maybe try both of them as Universe jumps in, looks for the burst on Saxa, but Saxa is able to get the Frost. He's going for the ultimate, but he does die. Jump in with the duel. They've got the grave, though, to make sure the duel will not be successful. Universe will still fall after the grave wears off, but does not give up any damage to Fada. So 1-for-1 there. NiP able to come in strong and make sure that Forward Gaming don't get away with that aggressive play towards that bottom tier 1 tower. But top lane is giving Excalibur space. He's 70 minutes in and he's making good farm also as the Maelstrom's just about to be done.
Yeah, nearly finished there for him. In terms of anyone else, gonna be an earn for the Dazzle, but Yasha is practically done here as well for all Rezo, so life's still looking pretty good for the Radiant side, and of course the duel not actually completing, so Legion Commander just continues to be stuck at 10 damage. Goes for the 10 Agi. Yeah, nothing you really need the waveform range for this game, that's for sure. And another smoke just from Fada. He's like, guys,
he really wants to try and find these duels. He has to. He has to somehow
it's tough,
keep himself in the game. It's Legion, it really is one of those heroes. One of the reasons why we don't see it, it can fall off very harshly if you do not sort of make things happen, you know, with the innate nature of the hero, getting that extra dual damage built up, so you are this sort of very scary hard hitter. It's a slow game for him, 18 minutes and only 1 duel success. Excalibur. Spiders are there on him, but the backup from SVG, MSS, and also Resolution are there. Resolution has the Yasha complete, so he's going to be even speedier, moving camp to camp, farming with his Battle Fury.
And he's taking away their Ancients too when he does that, right?
We saw, a lot of sort of aggressive farming there over the half of the map, which does limit what 33 can find on his Brood.
Yeah, while he was doing that too, he was also drawing up all along that top line, saying, yeah, like, let's go push that in. I want to take over this whole area, that Dire jungle. Because if they can force them down in towards that like Dire triangle and everything, that is great. It's a cool place to farm. It's not good for an entire team. That's like where you want one of your heroes to be playing. But if you can squish them all down to that right-hand side of the map, then that's very good for you as forward. Bottom, it looks like Universe has been sent to the dead lane. Nice. And there's quite a few Dire heroes down here, but they're leaving because it's just a big beefy cow with a Vanguard.
Yeah, there's not a lot they can do against Universe at all. He's very close as well, what's having pretty much the complete Crimson Guard, which is going to do wonders against this lineup of sort of summons, spiders, Chen Army, even Fada's Legion. It's going to make it even harder for him to find a duel. I mean, so what the panel did say one of the weaknesses of the Legion this game, you know, you're against the Dazzle, and one thing they might not touch on, but they're against this Centaur that had such an incredibly good start. He's going to have this really good timing on the Crimson Guard. I don't know if Fada's going to find many duels this game at all. It's going to take some sort of serious missteps and solo pushing that gets punished from Forward Gaming, because any time that they're approached as a team, they're going to be able to keep who's alive in that duel.
Yeah, they just don't have a quick way to actually end the duel. Yeah, they don't have that like Laguna Blade or something
not
like that.
Not until like this late game or E-Blades online for the Morph and such. Then sure, you're going to be able to go bam bam, but still there's the threat of the grave.
Yeah. And up top, it looks like all that pressure just like completely held bottom from Universe. They weren't able to do anything there. And meanwhile, the same thing's happening top this time in favor of Forward. They're just catapulting, taking that down with the arrow, and well, just no one's here. Creeps just hanging away at the tower. That makes them a little nervous up top, nervous in the mid. And so Forward are just playing a little bit passively here, not getting caught by NiP. Those Creeps just doing work up top. You've got like a quarter of the tower den.
Really, but you know, this game, it really was that sort of momentum. That 1 minute where Universe gets, what, ace twice, 33 once. Like, you can't let that happen at that stage of the game. You know, just losing cores 3 times in a row.
Their Brood here. Will Universe get it?
No. He tries for the predict, but will not get lucky with it. It's 33 indeed at the moment on the other side. Fada's coming in. Fada, he doesn't want to duel that at all. He starts to back away. MSS on the side being gone on by the 33 Brood. They've got the Stampede as they look to chase him down. MSS goes for the Self-Grave and the TP out. They've found the kill onto the CM. Excalibur jumping forward, hunting down PPD as Forward Gaming will find both the Chen and the Crystal Maiden. 33 wants to fight back, has the BKB, looking to come in on Resolution. There's the duel, and this time they will find it for Fada as they take down Resolution. SVG being chased as well as 33 with a BKB and Diffusal can come online and offer a lot, especially when sort of Forward Gaming, they've already used the Grave. Dazzle was forced to TP out of the fight. And NiP realized that was really the time to strike back. So NiP back with a bit of fortune their way.
One problem with Centaur we've seen a couple times this tournament is that if your first initiation isn't onto a core, the fights tend to go pretty poorly. Like, he obviously had the missed blink at first, and then he's just like charging after a CM. And the Troll Warlord joins him, and they kind of use all that initial burst and the ultimates and the first round of stuns on just a Crystal Maiden. And then they chase PPD. And so both supports are dead, and NiP are like, oh, I guess they used everything. Let's go kill a couple heroes here, guys.
look at this now. Into the Roche pit they go. There's no troll for a few seconds. I don't know if there's going to be any chance the forward game going over, and indeed it is. And this Roche is falling far too quickly as NiP get themselves the Aegis. Cheese is there as well.
Yeah, that is pretty frustrating when you do the Roche so early and then hand it over.
Oh, come on, they know. Are they pretending? The Cheese is still in the pit, right?
I mean, that web, dude, it's, you know, it's obscuring.
I mean, come on, guys.
Well,
I know
to be
it was
fair,
a
it's a
sneaky
22-minute Roche.
I mean, sure, it was a sneaky Roche at the start from Forward Gaming, but I would imagine when the big sort of fact that the troll had an Aegis would have made them realize that was the first time, and they've just done it the second time.
We are in Europe, you know, they like fine aged cheese here. None of this like colored cheddar stuff. So maybe they're just waiting.
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
now this is where Forward Gaming can win sort of real credit if they realize, hang on, no one's got a cheese. It's still in the pit. We'll see if they notice that. As, yeah, NiP, they've left the cheese in there. And they were looking
you would definitely assume someone just misclicked and ate it, though. You'd be like, oh, I don't know. They don't have it. Someone ate it. Like, that would be the instant assumption.
I feel like we've seen this a fair few times, though, teams just forgetting bits in the Roshan pit. I mean, the cheese, especially in a game this close, that's quite a big mistake.
The web's gone, though. He planted a new web, so the Roche web has now moved. So therefore, the cheese is very visible.
Yes.
We're getting a whole meta developing here.
But as you said, there's no real reason to just walk into the pit. Whoever does is going to be an absolute god.
We get an arrow that flies through. That
come on, someone check. Go on. Just walk into the pit, Universe. Do it. He's not going to look.
So close.
That's cheese.
It's so far.
Oh my goodness.
You should be able to smell it. It's a very stinky-looking cheese. I think there's odor lines that actually come off.
What's the active code of it? Fondue, isn't
fondue,
it?
Fondue, yes.
Is fondue can be any sort of cheese, or is it typically a certain cheese? Do you know?
When you make fondue? I think it's like I mean, it can just be chocolate fondue. So if it's cheese fondue, I feel like it's, you know, it can just be any cheese.
Any cheese.
Anything that's melted.
Oh dear.
Oh, we got the wave. So, hey, he's got the E-blade. There, duels are good now.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, it doesn't sound like it makes sense. You know, he's E-blading, making the Legion unable to hit him, but it doesn't matter.
Just
Legion
do the
does
math.
need to hit him
Get it
because
at the
it's
end.
just so absolutely. Just make sure you do it when you're sure that you do have enough damage to finish the kill. Otherwise, your Legion's going to get pretty angry.
Yeah, and that report button, you know, it's a bit tough. Oh, Rezo got that nice early Battle Fury, turned it into a Manta, and BKB will be next on the line. That's when he's kind of at his peak.
Against
Look at SVG just going in.
He is, but he's going out.
Oh my God.
I don't know if he was prepared for the E-blade. I'd imagine he probably did check the inventory. It is a very good timing for Mace in terms of 24 minutes in, having that, not sort of going for the Linkers, just going for the Dragon Lance into the E-blade build. So maybe caught him off guard. Didn't expect to find that. Go on, anyone hunting for the cheese? No. I mean, they're not going to see it until the next race. And then the next race, someone's going to get a lovely sort of surprise. They're going to get sort of double cheese.
Be some tips or something there.
Oh, maybe Fada knows.
There's a chance that he goes in there because he's going for the kill instead. How dare he?
Oh, yeah, he's got it. He's got it. Oh, Rezo, he wants to fight back, though. Can he get a bash? No, he cannot. And Fada's got backup. Saxer and PPD are in as well. Resolution should be fine. Still with the Manta, starts relying. The arrow's going to fly. They may have seen the cheese then.
Jeez, those
What if they did? That's going to be the CM God Universe. Tried to jump in, but the BKB's already out in 33. Chasing down Excalibur. Excalibur with the zone BKB will be fine. Keeps the distance, but Universe is now surrounded. He's got one more Who Stomp to offer up. A Resolution coming back in, trying to force 33 back. 33 PPD Fada, and Ace still looking to fight. Oh, the quick burst from Ace takes Excalibur immediately out of the engagement, and he's looking for more. Ace into the Ogre. Doesn't have any mana, though, to play around with, so can't throw out any of the spells. Resolution bullied back as well by NiP. Universe jumping back in. Stun will be removed as Fada has the purge for Ace. And that arrow got vision, but he probably was not looking at the pit when he threw the arrow.
Yeah, I would think not.
Nah.
No, eyes on the prize, the team fight. But a couple nice little plays there coming out from NiP. So they lose the CM, but they trade that for Excalibur on the Mirana, and then our Dazzle there too. So that's going to help them secure this tower. And the Roche, the Aegis would be reclaimed in 45 seconds. So Ace maybe wants to look for a couple more aggressive plays here as they have this tier 1 top. Didn't find any of those like big hoof stomps there that time for Universe, so hard to win those engagements.
Yeah, 33 just being a real nuisance in these fights with this BKB, and the fact that he's 4,300 gold towards his MKB is going to be even scarier, and very hard to sort of keep off. As in terms of through the BKB control, their best bet, mate. is pretty much getting out of there. They need to force that BKB charge out, use the Stampede to create the distance, and then hopefully, as you know, Universe can then see the opportunity to jump back in after the BKB is worn off and then drop the combo to set up for Rezo to come in with the damage.
Stampede is up. They're moving forward with the smoke. There's no hand of God right here. Might be enough for him.
And he's in, but an instant reaction from 33.
So we know who has faster fingers, Ace or 3-3. The answer is 3-3 because that BKB is getting off when the Morph is not.
He was very, very prepared and ready to pop that. Lightning reactions there from the Brood as forward. They do have this Moonlight Shadow. Maybe they can see to go again. They don't have the Stampede though, and that really is quite a big factor of getting them out of any sort of failed jump.
Yep. And they really want to fight right now because it's a 10-second BKB for Rezo, so understandable why they're playing so aggressive. They have a wave pushed all the way into the tier 2 up top. It's pretty low HP. I'm sure they have a general idea. In fact, they have great vision over in that dire triangle, so Rezo just wants to chip this right down. SVG has to play Vanguard hero here, where he's just like, I will stand between my team and the enemy, and then he runs away, so never mind. Does not feel like dying, it seems. And free tower. So very good map movement here for Forward Gaming, as they're starting to set up for this next Roche. Peter, scouted by the scan. Gonna get out. Fada also lurking nearby the Shadow Blade.
You're gonna see the jump straight away from Universe. Gets himself on top of PPD, starts to go for the op, but he has to back away. With the BKB, Resolution trying to come in on top of 33, but 33 of his own BKB can keep the distance. He's out with the movement speed of the webs. Stampede actually being used as well here by Ford. Looks like they were really worried about someone making a jump onto them there, just creating that extra distance between the two of them. Just taking the trade as it was, taking a kill, getting out of there, making sure that Fada doesn't jump in. One person gets grabbed and the E-Blade's there. Even if you grave them, suddenly you're committing like 2 heroes into there, and then maybe both of them die, and you're just pulling yourselves into a worse and worse situation. So just want to make sure that they're fighting at full capacity there, and that's going to be when that BKB is back. This is going to be like one of those value Roches of all time. 2 cheese and a refresher shard at 30 minutes. That's going to be like a new record here, guys. I mean, well, we're getting close to sort of the time that teams are going to start just checking it. And yeah, at that point, whoever checks it first, they're going to get a lovely little treat. Bottom lane Ace. It's going to be pushing in with the backup of Fada and Saxa behind him. They are starting to head over, though, Forward Gaming, and NiP are aware. Really important time to defend this, because if you can hold this back now, you want to force this so NiP at least has to somewhat think about pressuring this while Roche could be up. And then if you ever see anyone down there, you can just go for the Roche yourselves as forwards. So bring the full squad. They also have a great push up in top and middle lane. So they know there's really only one place they can be. Yeah. Like, they have to be in this part of the map. NiP leaning forward with the spiders. They'll get the vision onto a couple of them. That will secure both those boundaries. And the question is, do you just ditch right now as NiP and go for the bounties? Dazzle is ditching. He's going top for them. Yeah, and he even pre-weaves himself in the thought that there could be enemies. And I like Forward Game, they know that they're down bottom. Now going to road, they're going to see the cheese, aren't they? Go on. Go on, check it. All right, Roche. Oh, Excalibur! Oh! Look at the difference in gold. The courier, the courier! Oh, that's it! There's a... Okay, they weren't looking at it on the map. They weren't looking at that bit of the map when the courier went over. They still don't know. I'm waiting for that crucial moment where someone dies and we can be like, he could have had cheese. It's a magical cheese. Maybe only we see it. Maybe it's an invisible cheese. Maybe it's some sort of ethereal cheese. Maybe they're lactose intolerant. Could be. Tier 2 tower in the mid, taken by Forward. Oh god, they'll head back over now, surely. I mean, it's getting very close to... Actually, no, okay. Yeah, Roshan is pretty close to be respawning now. Yeah, what do we know? Yeah, 45 seconds and Roshan's back up. Full MKB on its way out to Resolution. Who, as I say, continues to have a really nice build this game. I like the way he's played it. The Battle Fury, Manta, BKB, and now MKB. He is a real force to reckon with in these team fights, as long as he can get on top of his target. It'll be a little harder, you know, 33 with the AC. They've got that extra bit of armor for this lineup, so it will take a little longer to beat down upon them. And always the worry of Ace with the E-Blade protecting a target or obliterating an enemy. He was very close there on Ace, but this is one of those games where I kind of feel like you might even wish you had the waveform range. Like, most people only get it when they're playing against, like, Bloodseeker we saw earlier today was a good reason to get it, or yesterday rather, I suppose. The Morphling played against Bloodseeker, so we had to get it, but this could be a decent game too when you're going for this, like, super quick E-Blade, but of course Agi gives you some more damage on it, so. Oh, is it happening? Ace. Oh, he's gonna look. Ace. Yeah. Just go and look before the fight. Somebody look in the pit, outside of the pit. fight's already begun as they'll burst down the Dazzle. They've lost the Dazzle Ace with the BKB. Excalibur with the BKB trying to focus down PPD. Resolution looking to get on top of 33, but 33 with the BKB himself and the webs down. Keeps himself away. Now with the BKBs wearing off, Excalibur's vulnerable. Ace has the burst to bring down the Mirana. It's a 2-for-1 favoring NiP as Forward had to back the rest of them away. Yeah. Still, no one to go in that pit though.
They realized like halfway through that BKB that they need to kill the Broodmother.
Oh, they're gonna see it! Hey!
Oh, it's under Roche!
Oh, Roche is hiding it! Okay, 33's picked it up. He's got it. Oh, but Universe! He's in! 3-man who's top? Can they kill off the burst on the Morph in time? They can! They get the Morphling! They're on top of another target. The Blademan's not gonna protect Farah, and Farah's gone as well! The cheese was a trap! They go in, Universe finds the perfect setup for a 3-man who stomp, and suddenly Ace and Fada, they're just going to be sitting out on the sidelines.
Ace is struggling. He has gotten caught several times by that stomp.
Excellent play from Universe. We'll see the start of this fight. It looked like a really good time for NiP to get themselves significantly ahead. These BKBs coming out early. Resolution using a lot of his BKB time to punch into Ace. And of course, with the shift already beginning, it was never going to be able to outdo the amount of strength that Ace was building up. But back into the pit. NiP, they saw the cheese, they saw an opportunity, but Universe saw a bigger one coming in, getting that perfect set of Resolution, making a beeline straight for Ace, then turning his attention towards Fada. Means a fantastic fight around the pit for the side of Forward Gaming as they do just secure themselves the third Roshan. I believe what Refresher Shard went the way of Universe on the Centaur. Now, who else has got? Well, Aegis on Rezo.
Probably got Aghanims now? Or did he shift away from that?
Oh, cheese on Excalibur.
He's shifting back, actually, on Universe.
Yeah. Okay, it just goes to the point booster and wants to get the pipe online. I mean, we've seen what Ace can do with the burst. If they can sort of keep one another alive. Also very nice, of course, for keeping the wave alive against sort of the wave clear that Fada can offer. Making sure those creeps can get up to the base without being nuked down by the Legion's AoE.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And Aegis is on Rezo, okay.
Yeah.
And he has Satanic to replace it, too.
Oh, has he got it done?
Yeah, he's terrifying.
Oh my goodness, I do. Just a minute ago he had the MKB finish, but indeed suddenly... I mean, Resolution has, as I said, he's been so impressive this game. I don't know whose call it would have been, whether Rezo said, let me play the mid lane against that Brood as the troll, or, you know, if it was the mastermind of SVG.
This is a really risky 5-man smoke. It's so hard to defend.
He's going to try and commit here, but Universe is there with the counterplay, jumps in with the Who's Top Excalibur committing. They do manage to keep that Ogre alive. They've lost Fada's Legion Commander. As Ace will wait for him back. 33 is trying to commit with the BKB, but he can't get away with the kill. Universe tag teams back in with a Blink Who Stop. They burst down 33. Again, two cores gone. Saxy tries for an ult in the tree line, but Resolution is there and on top of him. As NiP are really, from this game, from sort of the forgotten cheese to these fights where, I mean, we're seeing Fada just not being able to do much at all. It's looking a little bit all over the shop from NiP, whereas Forward Gaming, it's just been that much tighter. Resolution, as I say, was probably one of the best mid-troll performances I've seen in quite a long time.
Yeah.
As he's just absolutely rocking this game. 7-1-7. They're pushing down bottom lane. There's a 9k advantage. It may only be 17 to 15. But I see very little ways of NiP getting themselves back in this game with the way that Forward's playing, and they're going for more. There's no buyback available on Fada. There's no buyback available on 33. They've got a fortification, but the pushing power with Resolution is going to be incredibly quick. PPD, Ace, and Sax, so they're the only people that can try and hold them off, and I don't think they can. As Forward Gaming in this game one, storm forward, Ace will try his best, goes forward with the Graves there. They have the stun again.
Cheese.
Universe just comboing down the Morphling as they surround the Ancient, and Arrow holds Ace back at the base. GG is called. The Ancient falls as Forward Gaming. What a game one, and indeed a clap from Rezo. Yeah, a clap for his teammates, a clap for himself, as he really did play like an absolute legend. What an impressive performance on the troll. It's not every day that you see 33's Brood suffer, and sure, 33 still had a great game. But the problem was, on the other side, it wasn't it wasn't like he got crushed.
It didn't feel like it had a lot of impact, though.
I think if you're 33, you're blaming your Legion Commander on that one.
Well, I mean, that's what most Dota players are used to doing.
Yeah, just blame the LC. Yeah. Blame the LC.
Default mode.
Because Fada, that game ended up 5-3-6. It's not a terrible KDA, but he didn't get the dual damage up, and I don't know, it felt like a Legion Commander picked too far. We don't see this hero a lot.
She needs certain friends, I think, and she was very lonely that
They didn't have, what, as you said, sort of the ability to just get those kills.
We were like, well, I guess the best thing they have is Freezing Field, and they go out and attempt it, and even that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, hard game for Ofada to snowball, but I mean, again, just great game from forward.
It was a
honestly.
great game and execution from forward, and NiP for getting that cheese. Resolution, what an absolute beast on the Troll Warlord. Back to you guys on the panel.
Thanks very much, Odie Pixel and Trent. Back with the guys, of course, for game number 2, where hopefully we won't be quite as lactose intolerant in game number 2. Where do we start? Where do we start breaking that down for NiP and the fact that Forward won the game in the end? There's plenty to talk about, I'm sure, for Kyle and Cap. Where do you want to start?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not lactose intolerant. I'm good with cheese. Kyle, you like cheese?
I like cheese.
I love cheese.
I don't like cheese that's been hanging around for a long time, though.
Kyle is lactose intolerant, Paul.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I genuinely didn't know that, but then he didn't know I was caffeine intolerant, so...
Oh, well, that's tough. Would you rather give
Yeah.
up cheese or caffeine?
Yeah, or neither would be great.
Yeah, that would be
But
ideal.
back to NiP.
Yeah.
I'd rather talk about Rezo. I think he just outclassed everyone
Yeah.
in that game.
Yeah.
He's been, I mean, he's not underrated anymore, but that guy's been a elite tier S carry and mid for years now, and I feel like he just proved, he's dominant.
Yeah. It's a great pick as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Perfect pick in many ways.
I think
Has he ever been on a team that from the start was like a tier 1, like S tier,
No.
sort of like maybe
OG?
OG, but at that time, like when he joined OG, they were pretty good. But obviously they
Yeah.
suffered while he was on there.
But didn't he join them when I don't remember what they placed
They
at
joined
TI,
after
but
TI,
it wasn't,
yeah. It was
they didn't do
after,
very well.
after the poor TI.
Yeah. It's just that he just carries games. He's
Right.
just so consistent. Like, it just feels like he's got like that clutch gene. Will specifically is super high on resolution. He just says, he doesn't choke. And it's so hard to find players that like they perform to expectation or better regardless of the circumstances. Like, he just owned.
Yep, did 7-1-8 on the Troll Warlord. Likewise, on the other side of things, we were looking for big things from 33. We don't see many bad games from him. We don't see many bad games on his Broodmother either, but that 3-2-3 is pretty underwhelming, Cap.
Yeah, I think Forward got the exact laning phase that they wanted, and part of that was the Troll matchup against 33's Broodmother. Felt like he couldn't actually pressure the tower or take over the enemy Ancients as much as Broodmothers like to be able to do in that mid lane. I was really hopeful for Forward's Gaming's lineup just because I wanted to see some other carry answer to Morphling, and another answer to Broodmother is always nice to have a little bit of freshness in the scene. I'm not fully convinced that it was the Troll itself. I think it was Resolution playing the Troll that made it work, but there were a lot of fights where he's dealing with miss percentage chance from Broodmother. He's like trying to kill a Morphling who's strength morphing, so he's like, well, what am I doing? I'm just hitting this hero, but it's not actually doing anything.
I feel like if Rezo is also playing the Morphling, that NiP takes this game, to be completely honest. That's 2 deaths he had, and I should have mentioned as well, like, Universe played an incredible game as well. Very high impact. He found Ace twice in the span of like a minute and a half. Like, that ruins a Morphling's game. And I'm not really buying like the Dragon Mask, Dragonlance into the E-Blade. By the time he's got that, there's a pipe up, there's BKBs. I really love the way that Forward itemized. It just kind of demonstrates how complete and prepared they are on a game-by-game basis. They don't have a Spirit Vessel carrier, but MSS makes sure to go on his Dazzle, the casual Buckler, going into an Aeon Disc. Like, just really smart decisions.
What's the change you wanted to see? Did you want him to not go Dragonlance and faster Ethereal Blade, or do you want him to go the right-click build for Morphling?
I just feel like you need more raw stats in a game like that. Like, where's the... that's also partly why I like Morphling with some sort of magical burst. Like, I love Morphlina as an example because you have something to combo with that E-Blade, but there's a Crimson and a Pipe on the Centaur, and you don't want to E-Blade the dual target. So, like, what's really the play here? And I felt like their lack of team fight really got punished, and that's just, again, the strength of Dazzle Centaur, which are just 2 heroes that are on the rise right now.
I know we talked about him a lot already, but we're going to talk about him some more because he's the MVP for game number 1 as well. There is only one MVP in this game. Excuse me, and that's Resolution, 83% kill participation, 718 on the KDA and 788 GPM. Pretty damn decent.
A great haircut too, just lightly tousled to the side. Looks
He
like
went
someone you can trust.
He went the very hard carry build. Kyle and I were talking about it, about the Blink Dagger or Shadow Blade that we both kind of felt like he needed early on, but that's not really Resolution style. right? He plays to be like the biggest hero, the most powerful hero in the game, and like this kind of build-up is exactly what you expect from Resolution, right?
The thing that's so cool about it is like those are actually like the perfect game-winning items if you think about it, because you want two methods of cleanse. You don't want to have to BKB if you get slowed or rooted or diffuseled, or you need that immediate purge to save the BKB cooldown for a few seconds. And then he also goes MKB Satanic, which means Morphling, Brood. You can no longer man up on him. Brood specifically. Like, he just hits you now in the face, and Broodmother has no choice but to turn.
You don't want to BKB because you're getting E-bladed, right?
Yeah,
You want to Manta off, and then when the Broodmother goes and pops his BKB and pops his ultimate and tries to challenge the troll, like, that's when he needs his BKB. MKB was obviously really important for him to build as well. We're talking a lot of good things about those heroes, but I do think there was downside. I felt like the Legion Commander was pretty suspect. I mean, you already talked about how you don't want to E-Blade the dual target. You don't have that big magic damage burst, but you're also picking it into Dazzle, as well as, well, you've got Mirana Arrow that's going to come in. Like, Ogre doesn't feel like a great target to duel.
Yeah, that one fight was a perfect example. Like, he duels the Ogre, Ogre gets graved, he lives, and the LC just dies. Yeah, there's nothing you can really do about it. That's why I think Bat, LC are pretty dead heroes if you don't have that dream game where you have a free lane and you're going to be able to hunt 2 heroes minimum with ease. And I'm just not a fan of it right now. It doesn't bring enough to the table in terms of completing a lineup and giving you the ability to win fights.
Okay. We're going to head to a break in just a moment. Of course, we've got our second game just around the corner. But quick reminder for you as well, the MVP by Mercedes-Benz will be open after the end of the matches today. You can sign up right now and it will be notified to you, just in case you're lazy like me and you just want notification, the fact that the vote's open. Just go ahead and sign up right now. And you can then help us choose, I should say, the Mercedes-Benz MVP for ESL One Hamburg. You're not allowed to vote for Virtus Pro players, though. I'm joking.